From the Dallas On Air studios in beautiful Dallas, Texas, this is Fulfillment right here on DallasOnAir.com. And now here's your host, the Vega Bomber, PJ Dunn.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the first show of the brand new year. Here we are, 2022. This is season 4, episode 1. 4 seasons, Mike.
Oh my gosh.
4 seasons,
This
right?
is insanity. Man.
It's
We've
too
gone
crazy.
longer than like the average Fox TV show.
Right. We've been going on longer than the average New Year's Eve resolution. How about that? Kazak, 4 seasons, brother.
We've been here, we've been rocking it. Thank you for tuning into DallasOnAir.com, and thank you for those of us who've been watching since the beginning, man.
Absolutely. So if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, tell all your friends about it. This is the show, Fulfillment, where we talk about how you can get that fulfillment when you watch good shows. We talk about the actors, the directors. We talk about everything that has to do with movie collecting as well. We talk about that. So if you just like talking about movies, when you're done watching the movie, when everybody else just wants to go and eat and they don't want to talk about it because to them it's just a movie, then this is the place you need to come to have that fix taken care of. Right, Mike? Would you say that's
yeah,
right?
100%. We're here to give you good stuff and recommend it so you get some more good stuff from you guys.
That's right.
Yeah.
So let me introduce the cast of characters if you're here for the first time. So to my right is Horror Mike, who is our special contributor for this season. He's been helping us out a lot. Horror Mike in the house.
It's been a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, totally appreciate it. And also
Appreciate it,
that voice that you hear in the background that's sometimes in front of the camera as well is Kazak.
Greetings and salutations, campers. Welcome to DallasOnAir.com.
That's right. And I'm Vega Bomber. I'm your movie tour guide. So today the show topic is going to be the most anticipated films of 2022. So last week we did the best and worst of 2021. We're moving forward now, and we're going to talk about the things that we're anticipating. So these aren't, Mike, these aren't just movies that we want to see. We're saying anticipated.
Yes.
Like there's something about you that when you see the commercial, you get a little bit more excited.
Yes.
Right?
These are ones I'm like, my goodness, like what are these movies going to bring to the table? Because there's a bunch of movies I'm like, I'll go see them. But I'm like, these are ones I'm almost counting on the days for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Day one, right?
Exactly.
Day one, we are there. So, and this is also going to have some series. So even these may not just be in the theaters. These also might be some series that are going to be hitting Netflix or any of the streaming channels. So we're going to include those too for some of you who maybe are not hitting the theaters at this point in time. So that's how we roll that. So let's go with our first segment of the day, which is Just Seen It, where you get a chance to see what we've been watching. So maybe you've been watching the same show. So Mike, we'll start with you. What have you seen lately?
Okay. This is the new Adam McKay movie, Netflix exclusive.
Okay.
As far as I know, I think sometimes they release things in theaters. Don't Look Up. Adam McKay is a pretty legit big time director. He directed one of my favorite comedies of all time, Talladega Nights, a movie I really liked. He's been moving a little bit more realistic recently, like with Vice was probably his last big movie. But this is a movie which is a very, very dark comedy / satire. I absolutely adored this. It is a hilarious movie, and it would have actually been on my top of last year had I seen it in the last year.
Okay.
This thing has a all-star, actual all-star cast. Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Kate Blanchett, Timothy Chalamet, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, Ron Perlman, great, hilarious cameos like Chris Evans. This guy knocked out all. He just basically loaded the decks, right? And the movie, what it is, it's an allegory for global warming. A comet is headed toward the planet Earth, and it's a story of scientists just trying to navigate social media, the news, 24-hour news cycle, and just tell people there is an actual comet about to hit the planet. It's hilarious and kind of sad, the satire of the real world media and politics. I was laughing kind of almost throughout, and then like there was a portion of it I almost get sad because like, ooh, this is kind of how it really is. I heavily recommend it, but I want to give a fair warning. I'll give you the opening quote, and if this makes you laugh, this is going to be up your movie. If not, it might not be for you. But the opening quote of it is, I want to die peacefully in my sleep like my grandfather, not screaming in panic like his passengers.
Okay.
You see? So it's dark, but it's hilarious. 2 thumbs up. Cannot recommend it heavily. I cannot recommend it more. And I was reading a stat on it. This cast combined has 81 Oscar nominations. Not for this movie, just in total, all the actors over their careers.
They got some hardware.
They've got some hard. This is legit good movie. I recommend it, guys. Just 2 thumbs up on this one.
So Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up on Netflix.
So we should keep looking down at our phones.
Right.
Just don't look up, right? Okay.
I can't wait for y'all when you see the movie to see why it's titled this way. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
Yeah, okay.
It's great. It's a good movie.
Okay, Zach, what have you been watching here lately?
All right, so I was gonna go Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus, but the fact is that number one, we're gonna go ahead and go over all that in depth on the Rancor Pit Live. So if you're watching Dallas on Air, tune in next week when we do our coverage of that show, because we're gonna go into that. The second thing is that this week we've had some really just heavy deaths as far as the entertainment world. We've lost Betty White, we lost Sidney Poitier. And we lost a really great filmmaker in Peter Bogdanovich. So I picked up a film that I have realized that I've never gotten to watch. And it's one of those that I absolutely should. So I finally sat down and watched it. And it is The Last Picture Show. This is a 1971 film shot in black and white that takes a look at a dying Texas town. If you've never lived or experienced living in a small town, this is just one of those tone poems that really just kind of sets the scene for what it feels like to actually be young in one of those just dying cities. Again, especially as Texas, where football is religion, and there's nothing to do, there's nothing to be but have sex, get married, get drunk, and die.
Yep.
And that is very much it. And it's very much kind of a process on loss and isolation and just what it really kind of means to be alone in a very, very small town. And just watching everyone around you just kind of get into that mindset. It's a wonderful film. It is a clinic on how to light a film. It is a clinic on how to get the most out of your actors in a film. The cast is phenomenal. Sybil Shepherd, Jeff Bridges, Timothy Bottoms, just all these people giving these, bravura performances. Ellen Burstyn, Eileen Brennan, just all these really, really great names giving just kind of this really warm and rich and just heartfelt performance on a film that you kind of take a chance on when you watch it. And it's just so rich and beautiful. I mean, it really kind of steals from French cinema and things like that. And because it's shot in black and white, it's very stark, it's very plain, but it's just so convincing and eye drawing that you're really forced to pay attention. And that's one of those things that when I look at everything that's coming out in 2022, that's everything event, reboot.
Oh my God!
Yes.
This is just one of those films that reaches into your heart and just grabs you from the first moment. It's that wonderful Larry McMurtry script. It's some really wonderful. I think it's Peter Bogdanovich's second film. Just cleaned up on the Oscars. And just for the performances alone, it's worth watching. You really do need to get into those seminal films, and you need to sit down and watch them. Pay attention, because it can't be all events. It can't be all, dramatic
spectacle.
There's rich humanity in this film.
Nice.
Cloris Leachman puts on the performance of a lifetime in this film. I just can't recommend going back and watching this film again. Or if you've never seen it, go watch it for the first time. Pay attention, sit down, and just watch a film, because it is a bravura film.
Wow.
Yep,
That
it's
sounds
good.
great.
Yeah, I've seen it years ago, back in when I was taking film course classes. He's now I'm because I'm garbage with directors, so I did not I never paid attention to directors, but I remember there was like 100+ movies I saw during that year I was studying like film and stuff for school. Yeah, and that was one of them. that was another movie I would have never seen otherwise, and knockout. It's really good movie. So.
Yeah, when you say Sybil Shepherd, I haven't seen her anything, so I knew it was dated at that point. So 1971, that's pretty good.
Yeah, this is the film that really put her on the map because again, this is one I think this is like her first or second performance. You know, she's a completely untested actress. You know, people just saying, can you really trust her? And she does just put on this wonderfully calculated and cold performance of, you know, the pretty girl in high school.
Wow. So that's so great. Well, the movie that I watched over this time, I went to go see Sing 2. So I saw the first one with my mom. I saw she wanted to see the second one. So I'm like, sure, I'll go with you. I have fun with stuff like that. So this is a movie that actually did come out in 2021, right around Christmas time. It's about an hour and 50 minutes. It was PG. And so think about this. We're talking about some great cast. Well, check out this cast. Bono, Taron Egerton as Johnny, Scarlett Johansson as Ash, Letitia Wright, who you know as Shuri in Black Panther, plays Nushi. Tori Kelly is the voice of Mina. Seth MacFarlane plays Mike. You know, I mean, it's just you just got this list of people. And so what this is about is this koala bear. He's got his dad passed down this big theater to him, and it's all about getting people out to go see theater and singing and musicals and this sort of thing. And so he wants to pull all these animal groups together to go do this because it's set in an animal world. It's CGI, right? And so you have Matthew McConaughey who's playing the koala bear. That's who it is. And so he's trying to get these different folks in. So Taron Egerton plays this ape that is big and brooding, but he has this sweet voice. It's like perfect. And so this movie is great because it hits all the popular hits now, but it's these stars singing it. So you kind of already know. It's not like they're singing stuff you don't know. So they do an Elton John song, you know, which Taron Egerton played Elton John in Rocket Man, and that carries. I didn't know Letitia Wright could sing as well as she could, but she does. Scarlett Johansson plays the porcupine. That's a little bit grunge and a little bit rock, you know. All stellar performances. Not a cash grab. They didn't just do it because the first one was so great. They said, we can actually take this story further. And so they do. And so to me, this movie was very fun. You don't go to this thinking you're going to go see, and you don't have to turn your brain off either. So it sits right in the middle of if you're ready to go have fun, here's some music that you kind of know, and here's some actors who you didn't know could sing like this, sing these parts as these characters, as these animals. I think it's a good time for you.
I'll go on kick. I want to get to our main topic for sure because I was a fan. I hate to say fan. I really liked the first movie. And I tinfoil hat believe that movie is what got him Rocket Man because he does this amazing cover of Still Standing. In that movie. Egerton, I remember that's why I was like, this guy can actually sing.
Yes.
My biggest thing about the first movie was it was solid, but I was like, man, this movie has potential of being great. Yeah, the world, the characters. How would you compare it quickly compared to the last movie?
Yeah, I think it picks up and goes to the next level. I think it's just as much fun. I can't say it's better, but I can't say it's worse either. Okay. It just made sense the way they did it. And also I would say the CGI is phenomenal in this. How they do the sets and the stages are phenomenal. So I like the voice acting. I think each person here, I would not have thought Scarlett Johansson would be great, but turns out I couldn't even tell it was Scarlett Johansson.
Like I said, like the first one, I was deciding on seeing the second one or not. I may have waited till I was like, I may wait till streaming on this one.
Yeah, it's out now on streaming. They're
okay.
starting to introduce now that it's out on streaming now.
Okay, so that might be getting around to it. Thank you. Okay, yeah, I was curious about that one because I did like the first one.
Yeah, no, it's a good time. It's a legit good time, and you can bring your kids to it. And everything like that. If you have kids out there, families, you don't have to worry about have to cover any eyes or
this is a classic family movie.
And it sounds like it's a film that doesn't talk down to its audience.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The first one, if he's saying it's compared to the first one was very smartly written. I like I said, I was like, man, this movie has potential of being. Even in my head, I was like, I walked out I actually saw the first one in theaters. And I was like, man, the sequel of this thing is gonna be mind blowing. Because like I said, Taron Egerton's character, the gorilla, I really love that character. I thought that character was handled
Johnny,
so great in that first movie. I was like, man, that's all the elements of this movie have potential of being an amazing little franchise.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. Thank you. All right, that sounds good.
It is worth it. So who knows if they do a trilogy in this, we might have to put it up there with some of the best animated or CGI based trilogies because I think that it would follow suit with that. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. Let's talk about what you came to see, the actual show topic of the day. There's my wiki. And that is, what are the movies that we're anticipating for 2022? So since you have the three of us here, you're going to get three different styles. Nobody's wrong. Nobody's right. It's just what we think.
Oh, no, I'm
are the
always
most-
right, sir.
There we go. There we go. He's always right about being right. So
Exactly.
circular logic, circular.
It works out. Don't think too hard on it.
That's right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give you our top 5 most anticipated films. We're going to do one at a time, do it popcorn style, meaning take some popcorn and pass it around. And what we'll do is we'll just start with our humbled guest.
Okay. We're gonna work our way. It sounds like from the bottom. So my number 5 is actually Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Aquaman.
The next DC movie. DC right now, their live action films, because on television they kill it. They have some great TV shows, animation, but their films are, man, you might as well flip a coin and roll a die. You don't know if they're gonna be absolutely almost unwatchable. They're gonna be like legit great films, like The Suicide Squad. The reason,
And then you get Suicide Squad.
or Suicide Squad. The reason mainly I'm excited for Aquaman. Now, full disclosure, two of my favorite heroes are Flash and Aquaman. But the main reason I'm
I tried
excited
to
for
talk him
this-
out of it, folks. I tried to talk him out of Aquaman.
He tries, man. Every day.
Yeah, Mike, this is your intervention.
It drops down as though my mom and dad come in.
This is how your comic books have affected me, sir.
I am mainly excited for this movie because of James Wan. James Wan, as a director, has been just knocking it out of the park. His most divisive film, I loved. It was Malignant. I thought it was an outstanding little movie, but I can understand why it was so divisive. This is a director who we are seeing. I think he has the potential of being the next Spielberg.
Okay.
He focused on storytelling. He has his little crew. I keep telling you that first Aquaman movie is a very solid film, and I mean the numbers don't lie. I mean, well, kind of $1 billion, anyone gets that, but it's I felt that movie was based more on, it's just a very simple quality storytelling with a very charismatic actor.
Okay.
And this movie, we are now used to Momoa. You can't really coast on the charisma anymore. Now you got to bring something new to the table, and I think James Gunn can. So this movie is going to be out on December 16th, 2022. That it's me just being in fascination of the career of.
So not in the
James Wan.
summertime. It's not going to be a summer blockbuster. They're going to put it out.
I think they want it because I was thinking about that, and now unless they push it, which everything's getting pushed around crazily, it's I think they're trying to get that holiday money because I mean, isn't you go to Christmas and you walk right out of Christmas dinner and you go see what's the big movie this year? That year will be Aquaman. That might be the strategy they're playing with this one.
Yeah, you're. I'm just looking at the release dates, and yeah, that's going to be the biggest one coming out around that time. So yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, I as far as James Wan goes, I can't put him in the same category as Spielberg. I can't. But
No, I'll say
I can
beginning.
can give you Sam Raimi, because he's a guy who who you love to watch his small horror, because I mean, you take a look at something small like Malignant, and you take a look at something that one of his first saw. But then you give him a big franchise like Aquaman, and you can trust him with it. You absolutely can.
That's fair. And I'll quickly, just so we can get to all of them in time, I'll just say it's starting, obviously, 1-1. It's not even close. Like Spielberg just, he dwarfs him in just career length. But I'm saying if we compare Wan's beginning of his career to the relevant amount of time in Spielberg's career, they're fairly comparable with a clear edge towards Spielberg, because he basically redefined two genres, and Wan's just done very good in two genres. So that's why I say I think he has the potential. I think I'm really rooting on him on the potential, but in like 10 years, I would like to come back to this conversation on season 14 of Fulfillment. I want to come back to this conversation on how we're looking at James Wan's career.
Sounds good.
We can do that. Okay, Zach.
All right. So for me, my number 5, there are a lot of comic book movies coming out because they all make money. So the one that I chose to kind of kick off my number 5 was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
part 1.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know we're set up for a franchise, but I mean, what they did with the last one was just brilliant. The story of Miles Morales and getting to see him expand and getting to see the possibility of what they can do with it in that first Spider-Man movie with him. Sony really knocks it out of the park with this particular franchise. Again, Spider-Man is always a safe bet, but the way that they animated it, very funny, very very smartly done. You had a great cast. You had really solid animation. It was a fun experience to go see in a theater as an animated film.
Okay.
And like I said, I will definitely jump on this one. Now, this one comes out October 7th, 2022. But yeah, this is one that genuinely everyone can enjoy. It's you're definitely going to get the snark because it's always Spider-Man. Peter Parker is always snark. But I mean, the way that they've done it was just really, really smart. You have a broad team film, and again, you have just very, very funny writing. It's really clever. It's really well done. I really look forward to this particular one because I know that it's a proven hero with a proven franchise with proven directors. This is definitely going to be a safe bet to get my money in a theater.
Yep.
As far as a sequel goes, because this one it looks fun.
Wow. Okay. No, that sounds good. I mean, I know that when I saw it, I thought, I think when I talked to you, Mike, I was like, I was impressed so much with the Morales story that I wanted more Morales, not so much inviting everybody in and all that stuff. And I understand they're trying to set up that Spider-Verse, but I just found that Morales was so engaging to me. That's like, I don't really care about Gwen and the rest of them. I just want to see more about this guy.
Yeah.
Right. But again, certainly not wrong to add these people. You're trying to create a verse.
That was a fair, because I do have more to say. Spoilers. I may be coming back to this film later in our conversation. I've got more to say on it, but I remember when you told me that, because I remember I think I texted or called you, and I was like, you got to see this movie, man. This is the one. And I remember that was a fair criticism. Like, man, I thought they handled Miles so well. I wanted more of, which, well, talk about a compliment. It's like, I like the main character. I just wanted more of the main character. Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree. I have more to say on this one for sure. In a little bit later in the
for sure
convo.
Yeah. Well, my number 5, going on our way up, is actually a film I don't have a lot of information on, but just what I've read was incredible to me. So there's a movie coming out. They don't have a date for it yet. And it's called The Killer, and it's going to star Michael Fassbender, right? And what's great about this is it's David Fincher who's going to direct this. So he just won an award for Mank, and that was very divisive. Now, another thing that's interesting about this, since I love the director and I also like the star actor here, is the screenplay is written by Andrew Kevin Walker, and he's the guy who wrote the screenplay for Seven.
Ooh.
So just putting that together in my head, I'm going, this could be incredible. And I'm ready to see another vehicle with a leading man like this, because I'm tired of Jason Bourne and I'm tired of Tom Cruise. I want to see what Fassbender would do taking over. And this could be so good that this could lead into a couple of series. But I definitely want to see this, and I definitely want to see what David Fincher, how he would shoot this.
Yes.
And that script, man. We need something that can take what Seven did and expand and go even better.
Killer combination. Who is the director of Seven?
David Fincher.
David Fincher.
Okay, so that's a combination that's proven.
Yes.
Oh my. By the way, I've been hearing about this movie, The Killer, but I had not seen. I guess I'd just been going in one eye and out the other. I had not seen the director. Oh my goodness, that's hype, man.
And it's taken from a novelization by Matz and Luke Jacquemons. So this is basically taken from there. Now, I haven't read the novels, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to look into it some more. But essentially, Fassbender, this is an assassin.
Okay.
So imagine assassin, David Fincher style, with a script that would remind you of some components of Seven, but taken up a few more notches.
Okay.
And then thinking that Fincher just got off of a win for Mank. And that was divisive because some people thought that shouldn't have won, or they didn't think it was as good as it was, but I actually thought it was very good.
Yeah,
so.
Fincher is what happens when dark gets done right. Zack Snyder is what happens when dark gets done wrong.
Yep.
So you have some very, very good elements in here that could lead up to a very, very compelling film. Yep. I'm curious. I'm definitely in for that one.
Yes, sir. Mike, what else is on your list? What else made your list of anticipated?
All right, my number 4 is actually probably the soonest coming out on my list. This comes out next week, and I'll probably maybe a week to see. But I am Scream coming out January 14th. This is technically Scream 5. It'll be coming out next week. The new Scream movie. And the reason why we discussed this in our I believe it was our franchise video, this has been a solid franchise with really strong, solid movies. And the Scream movies have all been good. They're good, solid mysteries. They're all well done. And they're safe bets for me. And they're usually, at least the last two, had something, a good, not a good message, but it had something to say. It wasn't just, let's just stack the kill count until we get to the conclusion. I genuinely love Scream 4. I was like, this movie is great. So I'm curious where this next installment goes, because it feels like they only ever make these movies when they have an idea, like something new to bring to the table. So that's in my anticipated coming out. We'll actually be seeing it in 2 weeks, hopefully. So.
Oh my gosh!
It started out as a satire of horror films from the mind of Wes Craven, and it's expanded into a really, really impressive universe.
Again, Scream 4 is criminal how good. I mean, it's criminally. It's not even that it's criminally underrated. It's shocking how good that is. When I see other movies in the mystery genre just face plant, that was like it handled the mystery element, the acting element. It's a good franchise, man. I'm legitimately excited to see that one in next week or the week after.
Oh wow! Okay, Scream.
Yeah.
What about you, K-Zach?
All right. So my number 4 on my list. I sent you guys in the email when we were talking about the show, kind of a spreadsheet of what we were looking at, and what I put on there was a column that was sequel, reboot, sequel. Everything is just nothing original. Like it's all safe bets. It's all, guaranteed to get people into a theater. I had to put one on my list that was just there's no possible explanation or understanding of what this is going to be. It is a film coming out called from a trio of directors called Daniels, and it's a film called Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is kind of a multiverse movie starring Michelle Yeoh, and it looks to be, from the trailers, about 80 different films all at once.
Wow!
Because it is a cleaning woman who apparently is in other universes, a genius, or she's an assassin, or and again, it's Michelle Yeoh, so you're getting that really, really great sword play, and really, really good martial arts, things like that. So, I mean, and you've got stacked on top of that, a weird multiverse look at just every possibility of everything all together. And so this one woman kind of going in between universes from where she is. And it's just very much in and out, weaving in and out of all these different lives and all these different filmmaking techniques and things like that. So it looks to be not only visually interesting, but also really smart and really original, but an assault on the senses. And, it is a really not safe film. There is no possible way that this should work, which is why I want to see it, because I really want to see. I really want a film that's going to take a chance. I really want to see something new. I want to see something different.
Don't you want to watch another Marvel?
I got plenty of those.
I got plenty of those film, or
I got plenty of those that are going to get my money. They're going to get my money, but they're probably going to get my money from Disney Plus. They're not going to get me into the theater. This is one that I think I want to see in a theater. I want to get the experience on it, because it's just going to be so out there that it's a film that I think I really want to get into.
When I saw the trailer, I got kind of that feeling of like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Exactly.
I am also excited to see this movie. It does look good. It looks like it's going to be a visual feast. So I think that's a very good one to be excited for. I'm also excited for that one.
This one's from A24 and it's coming out 3/25/22. So it's kind of in that pocket of we're not really sure that this is going to succeed, but we're going to put it out there and let's see what happens.
March will be tough because it'll be going against the Batman.
Bingo.
And there's another one coming out in March that's pretty big too, but I can't think of it right now.
It's your typical. I feel, to your point, it's just A24 has, in my opinion, a nasty habit of just like I just farted out during there's a AAA movie. It's like, and
Yeah.
it's just no one sees your movie or even hears about it because you went up against No Way Home Spider-Man. Like, but yeah, I noticed that too. I was excited for the movie, and I saw the release, and I was like, well, that movie's toast. That movie's not gonna do it. It's
Yeah.
gonna have to wait. It's gonna be a streaming hit, I think.
Well, and I think it's also going to be one of those, limited release films that doesn't get, a whole lot of screens, but it's going to get, but I think it's going to be one that's going to get people talking.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. This is no judgment on the movie. I was just the release date.
Yeah.
I think
For sure.
Yeah. because
Well, that's the thing about these. Whenever we talk about anticipated films, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't seen them. So we
Yeah.
could be picking stuff that absolutely sucks.
Oh,
or
yeah,
we
right.
could be picking a complete gem. We don't know. We're basically going off of just whatever trailers or whatever articles that we've seen thus far. That's all we got to go on. So
Yep.
we might hit on some of these. We might miss on some of these. But again, that's just part of the game when something's just anticipated, right? Like the day you want to go to Six Flags and you're all excited, and then next thing you know, it rains.
It's rain. Yeah, it rains out.
So you can imagine. So for me, as I grab my piece of the popcorn from the bucket being passed around, Canterbury Glass. It's coming out November 4th. It's going to be a director. The director is going to be David O. Russell. So he's the guy that did The Fighter. And what I love about this is his lead character is going to be Christian Bale. Now, that's just one thing. Listen to this cast that's going to be here alongside of Christian Bale. You're going to have Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son, Remy Malek, Zoe Saldana, Robert De Niro, Mike Myers, Chris Rock, Anya Taylor-Joy, Taylor Swift. That's the lineup of all these folks that are going to be here.
It's an
in this
all-star
film.
cast and Taylor Swift. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, and Taylor Swift. Yes, yes.
Taylor Swift.
Yes, and so if anyone's seen any of the movie The Fighter that David O. Russell did, what you know is that this is about intensity.
Yeah.
Everything is intense. When it gets ramped up, and it doesn't take long to get ramped up in his movies, you're going to feel every aspect of the tension. And I love his films for that. Like The Fighter was good. I think the storyline was kind of, you saw it coming from around the corner, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
Right?
That's fair.
But again, the intensity and the way he chooses to set that camera up and show you, I'll sit in this intensity. It didn't like, fast, let's quick, we got to run across the green screen to get to the next scene, to get to the next plot point. There's no running to the next plot points, which makes it feel even heavier. That's what he does to create so much tension in his film. So it's just watching someone tighten up a string and tighten it, and you're wondering, is it going to snap? When's it going to snap? So, and Christian Bale, we already know how intense he is. This guy can lose weight, gain weight. He can do anything, and just so for me, I don't know a whole bunch about it, but because there's not a whole bunch about it out there yet. But apparently, this is something that has me excited because once again, to Kazak's point, there are so many reboots and so many sequels to this and this and that out there. I gotta have something else. I gotta break free. As Freddie Mercury said in his song, "I gotta break free." So what else you got on your list there, Mike?
All right, next on my list is The Black Phone.
I was interested in this too, but tell me about it.
So what it is, it comes out June 24th, is about kids are disappearing in the small town. I believe it was in the 70s. And the kid finds by his captor, Ethan Hawke, who's an incredible actor. He is in the basement by his captor, and there's a black phone, and he is getting information on how to escape by seemingly the spirits of other children that this captor has killed. This looks like it could be a great thriller, supernatural thriller.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer looks just striking. It is very. It gave me elements of was it Sinister with Ethan Hawke?
Okay.
I got it feels like that, like that cinematography of it. I keep on saying Insidious. It's not Insidious, but I think it's Sinister. And
it's Sinister.
It was Sinister, good.
Yes.
And
Underrated horror film, by the way.
Right. And that's another Ethan Hawke movie where he's just knocking out of the park. So you have a kind of supernatural element to it. You have a pretty solid director. I look at it like this is a pretty good director. And the premise seems legit. Another original concept. Like as far as I can tell, it's based on a short story.
Mm-hmm.
And mainly this is here for me is Ethan Hawke, and the cinematography looks amazing. It had a really knockout trailer. So look up the trailer for The Black Phone.
Yeah.
it looks good to me.
I gotta watch
thi-
that.
Yeah, this one gave me like horror comic vibes. Like I don't read a lot of comics, but one that I did pick up a couple years back is one called Ice Cream Man.
Yes.
And it's just this
Great
really
series.
it's really rich and dark and frightening. I mean, Ethan Hawke is terrifying in this in that trailer, man.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's a big one for me. And so, yeah. What was your next one?
Zach, what do you have,
Zach?
Zach?
All right, so for me, I'm anticipating it, but I'm sick anticipating it because number one, I've anticipated it enough because it's been talked about for years and years and years. Number two, it's from a filmmaker who I've loved, but who has struck out a few times. And number three, I like the franchise and I want this one to do well. This one is, of course, Kevin Smith's Clerks 3. We're coming back into this universe one more time to pick up on the lives of these guys who aren't even supposed to be here today. Just kind of that random everyday thing, and looking at whenever Kevin does one of these, it's a kind of a look at his life as it stands. The first one was about him being a guy who wants to do something different, wants to be a filmmaker. The second one is about him being falling in love and first looking at the panic of becoming a dad. I think this one is now going to be him kind of all grown up and looking at this from the point of view of a 45, 50-year-old guy who's come close to death and things like that. There's a lot of life experience that comes into this, but Clerks, of course, is a really funny film. Clerks 2 again had that really whip smart dialogue, not as great but still fun. We're getting all the original cast back from Clerks 2 to do Clerks 3. I'm sick about it because Kevin struck out a couple of times, but I have faith that this one's gonna be all right. I'll go in for it.
I'm with you, man. He's very feast or famine, but when he's on feast, man, he knocks out the park. But to your point, it's when he's bad, when he strikes out, it's rough.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely difficult.
Tusk,
Yes.
Tusk.
Yep.
Sorry. That's all I need to say about it.
You're right there with it. So I picked one as well, and so of course, being here, I'm surrounded by horror fans.
Yep.
And because of Kazak's love for it, and also Horror Mike's love of horror, imagine that,
Right.
it's made me look at horror films in a different perspective. And so one does make my list, and this would be Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
It's coming out in September. And so, again, there's been the TV show that they did, but they hadn't done it on the big screen yet. So this, most people know this is a Stephen King book, but it's written and directed by Gary Dauberman. So he's going to take this on. And
This is getting a Hulu release too, right?
I believe so, yes. It's going to
Oh.
get both, right? So it's expected September 9th is the actual date for this. And so you see, I guess, in terms of the stars, you've got William Sadler, Alfre Woodard, who you may remember, who was in Civil War. She was the black woman that confronted Tony before he got into the elevator about her
Yes,
son.
yes.
She gets confused with
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis a lot. Yeah, but it's
because I sometimes do, and I always say, oh no, wait, that wasn't Viola. Yes, she both good actresses, but they do kind of have similar facial structures. But when you look at them together, they look completely different. So I don't know. It's
yeah.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, so if you're aware, so this is a story, the synopsis really quick is about a writer who had a bad experience in his hometown of Salem, and this was shot in Massachusetts, by the way. And this is him returning back as an adult and wanting to do a story on what had happened to him as a kid in his town. And as it turns out, he runs into, this never stopped just because I moved away. And he comes back and he says, well, since I know the most about this, I've got to stop the terror of this particular entity that is wrecking shop in that area. So that's the basic synopsis for this. And if you've read the Stephen King's book, you already know.
Yep.
It always starts well, always doesn't end very well in Stephen King's novels. But I have faith here that Gary Dauberman's going to do something because he's both writing and directing, and he's a big fan of Stephen King. So I feel like this can come off. And so, Kasich, what do you think? Salem's Lot, you interested in this?
Yeah. I I'm with Stephen King again. It's reliable. Two, it's Salem's Lot. Which really was a terrifying book. Number three, of course, the TV series, the TV treatment of it was pretty iconic. Getting this one on a big screen with the a decent budget, great actors. It has potential. It has potential to succeed. And again, it's hard to go wrong with anything from Stephen King. It really, really is. And this one's an older book. It's had a lot of history, so it may be a reboot worth checking.
Well, and I'm cautiously optimistic. We're in that Stephen King's books and stories kind of go in rotation. Every 3 to 4 years, you get a Stephen King boost. I feel I'm looking at basically two movies in my mind. I see It Chapter 1, which is an incredible film, and then I'm looking at Pet Sematary, and I'm like, okay, which is Salem's Lot going to be? And that's why I'm cautiously optimistic.
Fair.
I have nothing but praise for It Chapter 1, but Pet Sematary was rough. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it was just like,
Which one, the original or the reboot?
Reboot. Reboot.
Reboot is horrible.
So that's what I mean when I heard about it. I was like, which way am I gonna get? So cautiously optimistic. There hasn't been any trailer or anything yet, right?
No.
Okay. So I'll definitely judge it when I say it. That'll be my first kind of beginning judging of it. But I'm with you. It has potential.
Yeah, this one's not coming until September, so
this
we've got some
happens
time.
every 4 to 5 years when Stephen King's stuff starts getting back in that rotation. You always get those bangers, and you get those. He has a weird inconsistency with his adaptations. I don't know why his adaptations are so wildly inconsistent, but
Right.
we'll see.
What about you, Mike?
All
We're
right.
getting into your top three now.
Yes. All right. So my
Top two.
top two, yeah.
Top two?
Um,
Yeah.
My number two is so as by you guys know this. I'm a horror fan, but I'm also a huge animation fan. I love animation and cartoons. My number two is Lightyear from Disney Pixar. Buzz Lightyear is one of my childhood favorite characters. And what Lightyear? Here's the twist on this. This is a genius because anyone could be like, let's just do a movie with Tim Allen and the toy going on his own adventure. No. They're going to take a different way. This is the genius of Pixar and their imaginative mind. This is the movie, the way it's been pitched is this is the movie that Andy would have seen that inspired him to want to get a Buzz Lightyear toy. So this won't be starring Tim Allen. This will be starring Chris Evans as
Interesting.
Buzz Lightyear. So this is a movie about Buzz, how he became the universe's greatest space ranger. Just the concept alone so out of left field for a franchise it's not dead. Toy Story ended on a fairly decent note, but it's like we're done. We told all the stories we could with these characters. Well, let's think a different way. Like let's look at the origins of the toy this is based on. I think the concept is so meta and fascinating. I've really not seen something like this cinema. So I'm excited for this. And like I said, guttural. This is a childhood favorite of mine. I've always loved Buzz Lightyear. I love there was a Saturday morning cartoon I used to love. I had a toy. I still have the toy from 20 years ago. My dad went and waited at a Walmart for 4 hours to give me a Buzz Lightyear figure. I still have it. So
nice.
I will probably go see if I can go see this actually with my dad, like I saw the original Toy Story with. So I am actually excited for this. And plus, you can never go wrong with Disney Pixar, man. They have a stellar hit record. So yeah, no, this Buzz Lightyear is on that list for sure.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know that Evans was going to reprise the role. I was thinking it would have been Tim Allen. But
and that's the genius of it. And this is what blew my mind. I was like, why not get Tim Allen? And think about it. Robert Downey Jr. doesn't do the voice of his toys. It's just some rando guy. So like Tim Allen would be that rando guy in this world.
I wonder if they're going to try to cameo him in some kind of way or something, just so that people can go, I got that reference.
If I was a betting man, the after credits would be Andy getting it. And he's like, this doesn't sound anything like Chris Evans. That would be
there it is.
There you go.
Okay, Zach, number two.
All right, so my number two. Okay, there are times where I go in for a film because I know it's going to be great, and then I know there are times that it's going to be a train wreck, and I'm in for the train wreck.
Oh dear.
This one, I've anticipated it because I love bad films, because I love B films. This one, when I heard it was getting rebooted, I went, okay. And then I started hearing the cast. Elijah Wood, Kevin Bacon,
Ooh.
Peter Dinklage. Oh, this one I cannot wait for, kids. The Toxic Avenger is getting a reboot.
Yes.
Lloyd
Avenger.
Kaufman's superhero epic getting a budget, getting name actors, getting to be we're getting the franchise. I mean, as far as Toxic Avenger goes, if you don't know Trauma, this is the film that really kind of put it on the map. You know, one of the greatest ad campaigns because that cutout was everywhere in every video store. That poster is everywhere. It was that film that when you went into Blockbuster and went, there is nothing that I haven't seen. I haven't seen this. What the hell is this? And you pop it in your VCR, and it's low budget, and it's insane.
Yeah.
A 98-pound weakling is dipped into a vat of toxic waste and becomes an incredibly strong superhero, who falls in love with a blind girl, and just basically has an instinct to kill bad people. And their heads ripped off. There are, little people being thrown into washing machines and on spin cycles. Just this is the insanity of this film.
Wow.
And so we're getting years and years later, after 4 sequels, a cartoon series, and of course a studio that was built on the Toxic Avenger franchise, we're getting a big money reboot, and we're getting Peter Dinklage as the 98-pound weakling turned superhero. I cannot wait for the insanity of this film, because there is nothing in here that should work, and everything about it tells me, shut up and shut up and take my money, because this is going to be a train wreck, and it's going to be beautiful, because it is absolutely everything I want to see in a terrible film.
Well, the film, this will be the first superhero film on my list, actually. This is the only
No
superhero
commentary. No.
I got nothing. I'll tell you this as a quick aside. Toxic Avenger is just I respect its fan base. It was not a film for me, so I unfortunately have nothing to add. I have nothing to add. I am happy that other people thoroughly enjoyed Toxic Avenger. I saw that cast and I was like, Peter Dinklage doesn't seem like a good choice.
No, none of it is good choices, and that's why it's going to be great.
But
Yeah, no. So this will be the first superhero film that makes it onto my list, and it's pretty good to be at top 2, and that will be The Batman. Well, this was a hard sell for me at first, because I was just thinking of Robert Pattinson as Batman, and I was just kind of like, and then I'm thinking, can't we just give Batman a rest for, maybe 5 years or something, and then reboot him, because it seemed to work when Christopher Nolan picked up Batman after we had a 7-year break from the last Batmans. But here we go. And so at least they went a different direction. And every trailer that I see for this pulls me in. So the director is Matt Reeves, who he directed one of my favorite films of 2014, which was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He also did War of the Planet of the Apes. So that's starting to pull me in a little bit more. And then, you've got Skarsgård. Peter Skarsgård is going to be in this film. You're going to have Andy Serkis as Alfred. You're going to have Zoe Kravitz in it as Selena Kyle. Yeah. So after I started to see some of that, and then the tone, I think the tone for this Batman is right. I also love that new Batmobile. I just immediately, as soon as I saw how it functioned, seeing the tone and the grit and what they're trying to set this up with, which is basically Batman's second year. This is like year 2 of Batman fighting crime in Gotham. So there's a lot yet left to be explored there, which I can't wait to see. And then, of course, I didn't realize he had his motorcycle in this one as well. So they're starting to already produce the toys of, we've already seen the Batmobile, but they're starting to produce now the toys of the motorcycle. So super excited to see this, although at first I was not, which says a whole lot. And then I think this Batman can be great. So March 4th is when we're going to get this. So again, this is one of those anticipated, because I can't wait. I got a whole 2 months here, or just a little less than that, to try to get this film on. And at this point, after every commercial I've seen so far or trailer, I'm just in.
Yeah, it looks good. I won't be belabor it too much, because I think it is going to be a hit. There's too much talent behind this. I'd be genuinely shocked if this movie wasn't at the base level just good. And like Matt Reeves, I have seen stuff from him from the past, but like you, the Planet of the Apes trilogy blew me away.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's just too much talent. Like again, everyone has that Spielberg Crystal Skull where you're just like, how did this happen? I don't think that's gonna be with this one. So yeah,
Yeah, this one's going to be a banger for sure. So, Mike, the audience wants to know, man, what is your
My
number
number
one
one,
and most anticipated here?
my number one, it was mentioned lower on Kazak's list, but for me, is my number one. Again, being a big animation fan, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is my absolute number one most anticipated film.
Okay.
Part one. Because I'm not sure you touched on it in yours, but they're going to do a little bit of a twist on this. This is what I think is going to be most compelling, because that was a lot of people's very reasonable criticism. Everyone liked Miles Morales. They want to see more of him. What's the twist with this one? Instead of the kind of Spider-Verse coming to him, he is now going on an adventure through the Spider. He's going to be going to other universes, other planes, other dimensions. And that sets up such a variety. These animators, because Into Spider-Verse from an animation standpoint was an absolute game changer. So not only are you going to get more character development of the Miles Morales character, because he's going to be older, he's going to be a little bit more mature. You're going to see his reaction to different worlds, and you're going to be getting potentially different animation styles, different ways of maybe telling a story. It's the potential of what this movie could be, which has me most excited. And yes, I think that key element of flipping that on its ear, instead of the characters coming to him, he is now going to go to the characters and their environment. I think is going to be what's going to set this film apart. And then, like I said, it clearly was big enough to be. It's going to be 2 parts. There's something brewing there, and I'm very excited to see it. I think this has the potential of being another game changer into animation. Like the first movie was with animation, this mixing of 2D and 3D.
So what do you think of the whole part 1 thing that they just put on there? And does that diminish putting that in there, or do you think that's going to add to people's anticipation for it? Because sometimes people go, oh, you're going to split this up into 2 movies. Oh, that's a cash grab. But
yes,
what do you think?
In this day and age, with how the margin of error of movies are, the profits margin to gamble. Because this movie could come out of the gate and faceplant. They are gambling, and animation's expensive. To me, to see a studio gamble that hard on and again, it's a safe bet, Spider-Man, right? And it's an Academy Award-winning first part. It gives me some confidence, kind of like Dune. Dune, when I saw part 1, I'm like, that's a very expensive-looking movie. They must see something in that they're willing to gamble their money. I'm seeing their money being put on the table. You go back 15 years ago, that would have been like, well, whatever, man. Like that doesn't. Nowadays, I'm like, movies are so expensive, and they want that return on money so quick, to the detriment of most films. For them to gamble on, we're gonna do a 1 and a 2 because of how much we believe in the idea. That gives me a little more confidence in it.
I think it also says that for this particular one, it's not going to overstay its welcome. You know, you're going to go in for an hour and a half of solid filmmaking.
Yes, and it's exactly 2 parts. It's in 1, 2, 3. It's like nope, 2 parts and well,
it's kind of like Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2.
Yes,
it could have gone all together, but you're glad that they're going to break it up, because you don't want the film that's going to overstay its welcome.
What about History of the World Part 1?
Yeah, right.
We're getting History of the World Part 2. It's coming. No, it's legitimately in development. It's
really?
Yes, it is.
They finally decided to get off the snide and do that. Huh?
It is on the way. I believe it's going to be on Hulu. I think I've heard about it, and yes, it is in development. It's coming. So
okay,
but that is where I'm coming from. That, because like you said, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. I was like, oh god, they're just trying to drag this out. Again, I ended up loving them, but that's how my going in was. This one, I'm like, knowing how much and how hard and expensive these products are to make, y'all must really believe in this to put that much money into it. So
By the way, whoever is in charge of DVD making, finally give me the whole bloody affair. I want the whole thing in one solid shoot. So, as a Quentin Tarantino fan, give me the whole thing all together
in one box.
Yes, right. I dig it. So, Kazak, your number 1 most anticipated movie?
All right, my number 1. Again, as much as we hate to go with franchises and sequels and reboots and things like that, I gotta admit, this one has me salivating a little. I'm totally in. We're looking at Evil Dead Rise.
Okay.
This one promises, I think, to be fantastic. Again, you've got the production team of Sam Raimi, Rob Tapert, and Bruce Campbell. Ash Williams is not going to be appearing in this one. That's going to be a totally Bruce Campbell free. We're getting Evil Dead.
Okay.
The first one is in the cabin. The second one is in the cabin. The third one, we go back to medieval times. The TV series kind of went all over the place. This time, we're going to get Evil Dead in an urban setting. We're going to get, a couple of women who are basically going to be fighting Evil Dead, the Deadites and things like that. I love where they're going. I love where they went with the series. I love the movie franchise, and again, knowing that it is the original creators coming back for this one, it's not necessarily a cash grab. It is one that is, like I said, continuing this Evil Dead story, and it's going to be a bad day in a city, and when it comes to Deadites, it's going to be brutal.
Yep.
I have faith in it because of what they allowed Fede Alvarez to do. With the Evil Dead,
Yep.
it came out gangbusters, even though it was one of the most brutal things I think I've ever seen on film. Again, the TV series gave it a lot of rope. This time, like I said, I think looking to see what the franchise is without Ash, I'm good with it. I really want to see what happens. I'm dreadfully anticipating it because I love the Evil Dead franchise, and this one promises to be just brutal.
Wow. No,
So,
that's
yeah.
pretty good.
I got very little. I like we said Toxic Avenger. I actually love the Evil Dead franchise, and I agree 100%. I've been following this production too, and I'm curious, but you can always trust Sam. That's another reason I think Doctor Strange is going to be a banger because he's always storytelling first.
For sure. No, I love it. And so my number one film that I can't wait, and this has also got me salivating and everything else, even more than the Batman film, and I'm pretty excited about the Batman film, this would be The Northman, and this is coming out. I love it. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. This is coming out in April. So I'm going to get the Batman goodness in March, and then the very next month, I'm going to get this one. So you have Alexander Skarsgård, right, who's playing the main character, who is a Nordic Viking prince. And some of this is to give the idea of Iceland and all this stuff. And so we haven't seen a good sword and sandal film in a while. And now we're going to get the Vikings, and I love this. And so you're going to have Anya Taylor-Joy, who I think is just fantastic. Bjork is also going to be in it. She is from Iceland, so I'm not even worried about her on that. Willem Dafoe is going to be in this. Bill Skarsgård is going to be in this. And then Nicole Kidman is going to play the mother of the prince who's kidnapped, right? So this is just a classic, intense revenge tale of Emleth is his name, was played by Skarsgård, the younger Skarsgård.
Oh, you forgot Green Goblin. What's his name?
I said Willem Dafoe.
No, it's not
Willem
Willem
Dafoe. You
Dafoe.
said, I apologize.
Yep.
He's I can't wait to see more of him. Yes.
Yes. So we're going to get this film now that is going to take us back. It's going to be like a mixture of Gladiator and a few other things, but told from that Nordic style. So I want to see that landscape. I want to see that scenery that we probably should have seen more with Thor, but we didn't quite get, even though I know he's Asgardian, but still the lore is built from that, right?
Yep.
And so with this, Anya Taylor-Joy, right? She's going to be in here playing, which I'm glad that she's in here with Bjork because I think they should do a biopic of Bjork, and I think Anya Taylor should play her because I think they have a lot of similarities in facial structure. So it's interesting that they're both going to be in this movie. I like both of them. So, but also we know how Willem Dafoe is just a sinister villain. He don't need no stinking goblin mask. Just show this dude's face. And so to have him be there as one of the foils to go up against this. And then the trailer. So who's the director? The director, you guys might know, is Robert Eggers, and he did The Witch, and he did The Lighthouse.
Yep.
And if you saw The Lighthouse, you know this dude captures, once again, the tension. And tension has to be high for us 2022 people to understand something going on that they're trying to portray in a Nordic-type mindset in Iceland, something where most of us have never been, but have always heard great stories about what the Vikings did.
Yep.
Of old. And I think we're going to get that here. And so I want something different. I crave something different, and I'll be darned if we're not getting that.
This is it also I'm smiling ear to ear because this movie went from him knowing zero knowledge about it to I was like, hey, I know you've been looking for like some swords. Hey, do you see this trailer? And I just show you that trailer. You were just like, what is this? No, I'm excited for it. And I got vibes of see this movie, you haven't seen it with Antonio Banderas, The 13th Warrior.
I've seen it.
No, I'm trying to.
Oh.
To the audience.
To the
audience.
peoples.
Oh, yeah, that's what we first bonded over that movie because like almost no one's seen that movie. Great movie, criminally underrated, and Gladiator. It feels like I got vibes of that in this movie. I am also incredibly excited for this movie. I can't wait. There's some cool shots in the trailer that I'm like, oh my gosh, like this looks like it's gonna be.
Oh, for certain.
Yeah.
Kazak, have you seen any of the trailers yet?
No, I've seen
gotta see
nothing of this film.
Oh,
It looks good.
You
Just see
gotta
the first
watch it,
trailer.
man.
It looks good.
Yeah, I would say the only thing I think is kind of out of place is Nicole Kidman because I don't think she looks very Icelandic at all. But everyone else seems to have that down pretty well in what we've seen so far. I just seen her in so many other things. It's just hard. And this is before I see the movie. It's just hard to imagine me that she actually belongs as the mother. I think I could have casted someone else, but we'll give her a chance. She's accomplished.
All right. So anything that just missed the mark under your list, just real quick, a title that you have anticipated that you know nothing about, that you just said, wait, what's that?
There is a Joaquin Phoenix film out there that's called, the name slips me, but I don't know much about that, but I'm thinking that might be pretty good.
Jordan Peele's Nope for me. Just on Jordan Peele's alone.
Sorry to ape your answer. That was the first thing kind of coming back because all we have is a poster.
Yeah.
Like everyone seems really excited for it and beautiful poster. I'll give it that. Yep. But Peele, to me, is feast or famine right now.
Yeah.
He has the potential of being one of the greatest horror directors of our time. We'll see. And nothing really. The future does look bright for film and TV right now. Like these next couple of years look pretty legit, so we'll see.
I mean, if we're just looking at the releases that are on the way out, the movie studios are just playing it so safe because they need to get their money back. I mean, basically, I literally.
I think they would do it even if they didn't lose money. I think they'd do it.
Yeah, reboot, sequel, reboot. It's the same.
For sure.
It's more of the same.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a whole lot of comic book stuff coming out. Like all those properties are being bought up, and everyone's just trying to get that money back.
Yep,
so,
for sure.
And horror is cheap to produce, so that's what we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still just recovering, so there's gonna be safe bets for at least a year or two.
For sure.
From 2021, like just. Not every movie was Spider-Man and the Marvel. Everything else was kind of crippled. So yeah.
And more of this is going to the streaming platforms. A lot less of it is getting that big release onto a screen. So again, I think that tells you that a lot of these studios are kind of either hedging their bets or looking to the future, and the future is streaming.
For sure, that makes sense. And that movie was Disappointment Boulevard. It's coming out in April. That has Joaquin Phoenix, and that's going to be great. It's done by Ari Aster, who did Midsommar. So he does some really strange and different films, and he also did Hereditary. So I'd love to see that film. That's why I didn't mention specifically. I will say there was a film that didn't make, which might surprise some of you who've been watching the channel for a while, and that is Black Panther 2. I'm not even that interested.
We'll have to, for another show, definitely have to discuss that one more. Because that whole situation is, while the first movie's a perfect storm, this is a perfect storm of maybe bad. We'll see.
Yeah, this could be really bad. So
we know nothing about it, so we let's give it time.
Let's say we'll see.
We'll see.
Not as anticipated as the other ones, which seem like sure hits.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm just imagining how hard it must be to try to do Black Panther without without Boseman, Chadwick Boseman. That's like doing Independence Day without Will Smith.
Doing Black Panther without T'Challa. Your main character. Not even,
So we'll see. We'll definitely see. So shout outs. Who do you have to shout out there?
My usual shout outs. Keith's Comics, Jesus, my coworker, my mom, dad. How's it going, guys? Watch almost all the episodes. And just you guys out there, man. Just keep watching good movies and keep tune in.
And keep talking about it with us for sure. How about you, Kazak? Who we shout out to?
Shout outs to everyone here on DallasOnAir.com. Again, check out all our other stuff. Like I said, our counterpart on Sundays here, Cole Houston, he and I, we're going to talk Star Wars, and we're going to talk toys next week on Isle of Toys, starting at 9:30, and Rant Court Pit start talking about all things Star Wars at 10:30. I think we are going to get into the Boba Fett series, so we'll get really deep into that. And again, like I said, check out Figment's The Unexplained Mysteries podcast. Check out Fan and Wife, both from at our friends Eddie and Colleen Medina. Check out Best for Business. Check out Rick at Night. Check out all our new stuff. Check out all the good stuff that's right here on DallasOnAir.com. And shout outs to Jansen and Kat, who give us a home here every Sunday right here on DallasOnAir.com.
That's right. I want to give my shout outs to Brandy and Barry, Austin, Sean Presley is a great friend of mine. So is Lauren Wiedauer, Tristan Fraser, Harry Thomas, Troy Ross, Daniel Meza, Freddie, the film samurai himself, Carlos, who we hung out and had a beer yesterday, so it was awesome watching the Cowboy game. Eddie Medina, Cole Houston, Stephanie Crane, and Freddie. And Freddie, you know who you are. And until then, we're out, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. That will be the 23rd.
All right.